What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, what's going on here in our country on a daily basis here, including the next round of stimulus checks here, as multiple different states are sending out stimulus checks. There's already 20 different states that have already approved stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax rebate checks, and more is coming here. I have the latest update here for you in this video and a bill here from Senate Republicans for inflation relief here in this video. Yeah, that's right. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new updates. And click the bell icon after you subscribe. You'll see the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live here with new videos. All right, here we go. Let's jump right in. Yeah, one of the states I've been getting asked about here, two of the states I've been getting asked about here a lot is Texas and Florida. Well, here's an update from Florida. Ron DeSantis uses federal stimulus money, federal COVID relief funds, to send nearly 60,000 Florida families a $450 per child check to offset the cost of rising inflation. Yeah, this actually just came out here yesterday. Here's the details of this. Yeah, as you can see here, thousands of low-income Florida families are expected to receive relief checks to help offset inflation costs in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis' administration on Thursday announced he's reallocating some stimulus money. This says money from the last stimulus package funds, and is sending $450 a child directly to struggling families in the state. We have not heard a lot of what he's doing with the stimulus money. He did send out stimulus checks to teachers previously, and this is, I think this is the last we've heard of Florida. I mean, this is the last I can recall. He says, quote, "This one-time payment assists families who are being affected by rising inflation and preparing to send their children back to school," says Laura Walthall, a spokesman for the Florida Department of Children and Families, said in a statement to Insider. To fund the checks, the governor has set aside $35.5 million from the $1 billion the state received from the American Rescue Plan Act, according to the announcement. Now, Florida received much more than $1 billion from the American Rescue Plan. Let me see here. Yeah, you can see here from an article, just to give you an idea, and if your state's the similar size to Florida, this is how much you can guess here, or have an idea of how much your state got. The $1.9 trillion third stimulus package, the American Rescue Plan, outlines money for both state and local governments, cities and counties, basically. The report allocates $10 billion to Florida's government, to Florida. $10.2 billion the state of Florida got. Yeah. So when they send out, 35 million, it's literally a tenth of 1%. It's a tiny, tiny amount. Now, no mention from Ron DeSantis about everybody else struggling in the state with inflation. For now, talk to tweet your governor, tweet your state representative. Same thing with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. I've seen a lot of people asking about them in Texas. I'll keep you up to date here as soon as I see something. Maybe as we get closer to the election, maybe these guys will say, hey, maybe we should use some of that $10 billion that we have sitting around, right? Um, Tweet your governor, tweet your state representatives, email them, call them. Same thing with every single state. They got billions of dollars. Some states are using it to give stimulus checks back, to cut state taxes, to give property tax rebates back, to give SNAP benefits. Because remember, when they give extra SNAP benefits, the state has to pay for that. So that is a form of basically stimulus. In fact, that is kind of actually one of the definitions of stimulus. It's actually pandemic money. So if your state is giving out extra SNAP benefits, that's a way of the state giving back here as well. So feel free to email, call, and tweet your state representatives, your senators, your House representatives as well. So here we go. Next state. And don't forget, we'll have the Republican plan here in this video as well. Virginia has a $250 to $500 tax rebate here coming for the state of Virginia. Here's the details on this. More money is coming to Virginians' pockets. The Virginia General Assembly approved a tax rebate earlier this month. The Virginia Department of Taxation says individual taxpayers will receive up to $250, while married couples filing jointly can expect to receive up to $500. The amount is based on the filer's individual couple's tax liability. The tax authority notes that not every taxpayer is eligible based on their tax liability. Yeah, so this is not an easy one to figure out per se. The tax liability is the amount of tax you owe throughout the year minus any tax credits. Why this state had to make it difficult is, I don't know. Each state does it differently, unfortunately. Like the credit for taxes you paid to another state or the credit for low-income individuals, the rebates are expected to start going out in late September, so August, September. And those who filed before July 1st should expect it no later than October. Yeah, you must file your taxes by November 1st to be eligible, the VDOT says. The rebate is being funded due to a budget surplus in the amount of $1.2 billion. That's just the state budget surplus. That would be in addition to the stimulus money that the state got as well. So this is state budget surplus. That's not even including the stimulus money. Next up, the state of Massachusetts tax relief. Senate unveils changes to estate tax plus child care credit and rental deduction cap, among several other cuts. With the clock ticking down to July 31st, the Massachusetts Senate will tackle a roughly $4 billion economic development bill featuring a tax relief package. Tax relief package that would take effect quicker than the House's proposal as Bay Staters grapple with skyrocketing inflation and housing costs. Yeah, I think in real estate's pretty expensive there. Among other financial strains, the bill, replete with hefty investments in education, health and human services, housing, and climate change, will dominate the Senate's formal session on Thursday. It comes 10 days before the legislature wraps up. Some of the things in this bill: child and dependent care credit raises the credit from $180 per child to $360, while removing the cap of 2 children or dependents. This is expected to benefit more than 700,000 families at the cost of $130 million. The Earned Income Tax Credit, also known as the Adult Tax Credit, bumps the state tax credit from 30% to 40% match of the federal tax credit. This is expected to help 400,000 taxpayers and their families, costing $91 million. The rental deduction cap increases the rental deduction, which is based on 50% of rent paid, $3,000 to $4,000, which would aid almost 900,000 taxpayers for $35 million. The senior circuit breaker boosts the maximum credit for seniors whose rent or property taxes exceeds a certain portion of your yearly income, uh, up to $2,340. Lawmakers say this change would affect more than 100,000 taxpayers at a cost of $60 million. Quote, we think it's important that we provide this relief immediately to tax filers. Some Bay Staters are also poised to receive $250 stimulus checks, which forged the initial relief that lawmakers agreed to at a cost of around $500 million before they unveiled their full suite of tax breaks. Top Massachusetts House and Senate Democrats unveiled their $250 rebate initiative earlier this month, emerging after the governor in January first urged the legislature to pursue the $700 million tax relief package. Yeah, as you can see here, this headline here, some Bay Staters will receive $250 rebates or stimulus checks, as we just heard. And by the end of September, those who file individual tax returns could receive a $250 payment, married filing jointly $500. Residents must have earned between $38,000 and $100,000, according to representatives. Next up, the state of Idaho. Idaho closes out the fiscal year with a $1.4 billion surplus, more tax cuts, and investments on the way. Yeah. Governor Brad Little announced today that Idahoans can expect more tax cuts and additional investments with the state's $1.4 billion budget surplus. Almost every state has a budget surplus in addition to stimulus money, because states are bringing in more revenue now than expected, and unemployment is at a historic low right now, 3.6%. Idaho's economy is red hot because of the resiliency of our citizens and businesses, combined with years of fiscal conservatism reigning in state spending. We will be able to provide Idahoans even more tax relief and make key investments where they count. Idaho is in the middle of deploying record tax relief. More than 650,000 Idaho households have received $227 million in immediate tax relief this year. The average rebate is $348 per household. The legislature approved $350 million in immediate tax rebate this year as part of Governor Little's Leading Idaho plan. So thousands more households will receive their checks before the end of 2022. Yeah, Idahoans have benefited from $1 billion in tax relief since Governor Little took office, and another $1.5 billion will be sent back to taxpayers over the next few years. Next up, Senate Republican proposes, quote, inflation relief in new bill, targeting tax credits for the whole country. Yeah, Senator Chuck Grassley's bill would adjust phase out thresholds for key tax benefits here. Here are the details. Check this out. Let me know your thoughts here. Yeah, a top Senate Republican plans to introduce legislation on Thursday that is designed to provide targeted relief to lower and middle income Americans for the entire country who are struggling financially due to rising consumer prices by indexing certain tax benefits to inflation. Yeah, Senator Chuck Grassley, a Republican from Iowa, is set to unveil the, quote, Family and Community Inflation Relief Act. Say that 10 times fast, right? Which would adjust the phase-out thresholds or deductible amounts for several tax credits and other benefits for families, students, and more. There's several things in here. The proposal, a copy of which first shared with Fox Business, comes just 1 week after June inflation data showed inflation at 9.1%. Although the IRS adjusts for federal income taxes for inflation, that's not the case for many of the government's low income assistance programs, including the child tax credits, which basically don't go up, they're stuck at $2,000 per year. And really, they're going to go down dramatically if they can't pass them again. Last year, they were at 3,000 to 3,600 with the monthly payments. So now they're going to go down to $2,000 per child. So that's a dramatic decrease, especially with inflation going up, right? Yeah, that's a huge decrease. Under the law, the payments go to individuals earning less than 75,000 and married couples earning less than 150,000. Grassley's bill would adjust those income cutoff levels as well as the annual payments of $2,000. By the way, you have to file a tax return to get these. So if you have children, and I'll keep you up to date on this, you're going to want to make sure you file tax returns to get this $2,000 per child. But I'll keep you up to date here on my YouTube channel on what's going to happen with these. By indexing them for inflation to ensure the credit is not eroded by the hottest inflation in 4 decades. Well, it's going to be eroded either way because inflation pretty much happens every year. But this proposal would include the non-dependent credit, which provides up to $500 for other dependent, such as elderly parents as well. Indexing useful tax credits to inflation, like the child tax credit, the lifetime learning credit, and others, would help parents and students keep up with rising costs. There are other tax programs covered by this bill. The Child and Dependent Care Credit. Grassley wants to index for inflation the maximum child care expenses used to calculate the credit, as well as income phase-out thresholds. The credit provides families with 2 children up to $2,100. That's the Child and Dependent Care Credit. This is why you want to make sure you look into all this stuff when you file your taxes. Or if you don't normally file taxes, you might want to, because there's a lot of money you might be missing out on here. The American Opportunity Tax Credit. The legislation would index for inflation the eligible tuition expenses used for determining the credit amount. It also indexes the income phase-out thresholds to inflation. College students can qualify for up to $2,500 in tax credits. Lifetime learning credit, the $2,000 credit, would essentially be indexed to inflation because the proposal would increase eligible tuition expenses used for determining qualifications. Student loan interest deduction, and student loan payments are going to restart here again at some point. The bill indexes inflation, the maximum amount of student loan interest that may be deducted in 1 year, which is currently only $2,500. That would phase out, would be adjusted accordingly. And the charitable mileage deduction. So let me ask you this. What do you think else should be in this Senate Republican plan? Yeah, what do you think they're leaving out? What else do you think should be added? Do you think this can pass? Do you think they'll pass this before the midterms? Do you think they'll pass this after the midterms? What do you think will happen with this? I'll keep you up to date here on the block. It's nice to see Republicans coming forth with some plans here before the midterms. Will they go forward and actually pass something like this? So I'll keep you up to date here. I have more states coming here for you here on the next video or two as well. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. After subscribing, click the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live here with new videos. You can click here to see my newest video next. And was AOC faking her arrest? You can click here to see the details on that video next. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.